So very excited to have two of our senior speakers from Akamai today. Ajay Mishra is Director of Security Technology and Strategy at Akamai Technologies. He comes with over 20 years of experience, predominantly living in Japan, in which he has been helping organizations to solve technical security objectives, defend their technical investments, security investments, and develop strategies that can help them build stronger and more resilient brands overall. Many leading businesses in Asia Pacific and Japan rely on his abundant experience and expertise to solve security issues. Ajay-san is an avid public speaker, currently running a popular white hacking seminar as well in Japan, and his demonstrations based on the latest attack methods are supported by several security communities, including, ISAC Japan, Financial Services, among others. Next, we have Nick Hawkins. Nick is the Senior Director of Enterprise Product Management for Akamai's Asia Pacific and Japan region. In his role, he's responsible for Akamai's enterprise solution portfolio, which covers both access and security requirements. These solutions help boost productivity, improve security by accelerating deployment of access and security technologies from Akamai platform, while they also help to reduce the attack surfaces for an organization. Nick's main area of focus are driving product strategy and functionality to match the local market requirements, which is APJ, as well as championing regional needs. Now, again, just for those who are not very familiar with Akamai and for the benefit of those attending our Akamai webinar for the first time, here's a brief introduction of what we do. Akamai secures and delivers digital experiences for the world's largest companies today, keeping applications and experiences closer to the users and the threats far away. The edge, as we see it, is not an abstract concept. The edge is a physical place. The entire center of gravity of technology today, as we all know, is shifting towards the edge, whether it is capacity, data, devices, decisions, security, users, everything is moving towards the edge. And only businesses that can take advantage of the edge are able to scale and sustain, especially in today's volatile digital world. And making this happen is not easy. Akamai can help, definitely. And since the time Akamai was founded 20 years ago, we have spent every day at the forefront of digital innovation and security. And the edge is where we continue to innovate even today. The history of the web and the history of cloud security is pretty much the history of Akamai. And we are already poised to transform the next 20 years as the leaders in secure delivery. In almost every industry and vertical, top companies rely on Akamai to achieve the true competitive advantage through the solutions that we offer, be it multi-cloud architecture, supporting the power of multi-cloud architectures or otherwise, and we help companies keep themselves secure and protected. Just to give you a few stats, the Akamai platform is unmatched on the internet. While competing platforms say it is okay to be in the same region or country as your users, Akamai is literally only one hop away from 90% of the world's internet users today. We have some of the most sophisticated software and algorithms on the planet that powers our platform, and we can help and accelerate and deliver content to millions of users every second, blocking the largest security threats across the globe. And all of this data we are able to mine for actionable insights as well, so that we can protect businesses 24/7. We recently, in fact, hit a new peak of 200 terabits per second web traffic across our network. Just to quickly move on to the main crux of today's discussion, because we surround all of the architecture of a company from the edge, Akamai is able to provide a consistent security posture no matter where the applications live today. Whatever cloud provider you use, no matter where your data center is, whether it's a private data center or a public cloud data center, you can establish and maintain a consistent security posture with Akamai. Akamai platform denies about 37.4 million malicious application attacks every hour, and we manage more than 350 billion bot requests per month, and we block DDoS attacks of 1.44 terabits per second and beyond, right? So some of the largest attacks ever seen. And we can extend that consistent security posture to your corporate applications as well, enabling you to move to a zero trust security model in your corporate environment. And we can implement this model so that you can cater to the needs of today's hybrid workforce. As and when we're seeing the pandemic being managed, we do anticipate a more of a hybrid workforce coming into play. So with that, I would want to request you to participate in a quick survey. I'll try to open the poll now. Please let us know if you're able to see that. It's a short poll, and in relation to the topic today, so your inputs will help us calibrate the depth and breadth of what we plan to cover in today's session. So here you go. Do let us know if you're able to see the poll.
Yeah, Aparna, we can see it.
Thanks, Vikas. Great to see some answers coming in there. We do have a couple more minutes, so please take your time to respond to that. And we will use the responses to calibrate the content that we're going to cover in the next 40 minutes or so. One more minute to go. I think most of the folks are in between. I see quite a few folks who are in progress as far as the poll is concerned. We have about a minute more to go. Almost there, 30 seconds more. Right, 20 more folks to close it. I think we're almost done. Ten more seconds. All right, we're going to close the poll with that. There's a bit more buffer that WebEx is building into it, looks like. So there's a countdown of 10 seconds now. Awesome. So let me just share the quick results of the poll with everyone. Are you able to see the poll results now on the polling window?
Yes, we do.
Ajay-san, Nick, I hope you're noting the responses as well.
Yep.
Looks like a good percentage of the attendees got the first question right. The second one, more or less. So maybe we can just announce the answers, Ajay-san, for the first few questions.
Yeah, I mean, we can do while explaining things as
Sure.
well.
Yeah.
But we can go in it roughly. So number one, of course, it's a double extortion these days. It's not extortion. A Pulp Fiction is just for some interesting things. Now the second
Just to
one
distract.
is, yeah, the 𝐲𝑅 definitely is like a Microsoft Exchange, which I'll be explaining very soon. Number third is, yes, do you believe 29? Well, I explained this is the conclusion of today's talk, actually. Fourth is okay. Yeah, it's the best answer, actually. Number 4 is.
Yeah. Okay, I think with that, I'll hand it over to you, Ajay-san, in the interest of time, and maybe we can get started. So let me know if you're able to share your screen. I'm just going to hand over the controls to you.
Just let me give me the share.
Are you able to present now?
Yes, I can.
Perfect.
So let me know if you see my screen, and then I'll get it started.
Yes, we can, Ajay-san. Over to you.
Hi guys. Okay, I'm gonna take 30 minutes from now and on, and hopefully we are on time. It is in Japan is 8:50 now. So if I take 30 minutes, it means we will have 10 minutes in the end. So we're gonna do the Q&A and then some like product talk there. So let me get started here. So first of all, guys, thank you very much joining on this Saturday night. I'm not sure if it's not pandemic. In Japan, people do not work on Saturday night, but it's great having so enthusiasm, and thank you very much for joining across India. So first of all, I'm Ajay, actually from Nepal, but now naturalized in Japan, nearly 25 years, 20 years actually doing a lot of works, universities and master degree, everything here in Tokyo. So today I'll be talking more about the hands-on things. So I used to do a lot of presentations, how the hack works. Well, how the hack works is very beautiful things, but demonstrating it like makes much more sense. That's exactly what I do. So regarding that, like one of the the point I would like to make, even we can learn something today. Definitely hacking against any environment, if you are not permitted to do it, simply a crime. And I'm sure that India has a great rule of law. Japan has a rule of law. Every country has there, because these are not, taken as just like that. It's a very serious thing. So that's why you can hack your own system. Do not hack anything else. That's the messaging here. So let's go about the hacking, sessions, and I will talk more about what we're reading in the questions. Is what are the most recent major hacks and attacks these days? And since we don't have too much time, I can go for hacking nearly a day. I run like sometimes blue team versus red team. I make them people to fight each other, and I distribute like prizes for them. But it's in 30 minutes, I can't do too much, but I'm gonna show you a one lethal attack, which will be like really that how easy it is to attack and how hard it could be to protect there, and how Akamai can help you around with those attacks. So that will be the conclusion. So around those, attacks, definitely it's a ransomware days going on. Akamai is very famous for protecting DDoS attacks, bot attacks, but these days I think ransom is like more problematic than those noisy bots and DDoS, because the impact of these attacks are really high. So let's start with the 𝐷𝐼. And there was a question actually, was this something Microsoft Exchange or something else? So what is 𝐷𝐼 ransomware attack? So we all heard this year was a lots of different kinds of attacks, but more like a supply chain attacks. So when we say supply chain attacks, there was something called the Microsoft Exchange hack. What happened with this hack? 30,000 organizations. I'm not talking about number of people who got affected. 30,000 organizations been affected, something called the Hafnium group. And why it happened? Because one thing you see on the very right side, which is Microsoft Exchange Server, 4 distinct vulnerabilities that let the hacker bypass authentication, implanting web shell. When I say implanting web shell, it means taking the hostage of that server. It's a complete terrorize that entire data center and take everything down there. And actually they also installed the ransomware. So that was a 𝐷𝐼. Now how this attack happened, I will talk more in my next slides. But as you see the mail server, you can access these things, of course, within your corporate and outside of corporate. So someone can have like a simple browser, can access that Outlook and read emails, write emails, and any different kinds of clients here. So how this attack happened, let's go a little bit deep dive with those vulnerabilities. So there are like 5 vulnerabilities, 4 actually, 855, 857, and 855 again, and of course the numbers are different. So let's just start with this one. This vulnerability, by the time as a 0-day vulnerability, allowed a hacker to bypass authentication. Means anybody can get inside there and then start to do something really bad there. Now 857, this is my favorite one as well, insecure deserializations. Now, when I talk about the deserialization vulnerability, there is no any way any technology on the planet going to tell me they're going to fix deserialization vulnerability forever. It's not going to happen simply. PHP, Java, .NET, day in and day out, this deserialization vulnerability keep on coming out. And Microsoft, it just came out just that time, a hacker, started to do read and write emails due to these vulnerabilities. Now the problem is still read here, getting bypass authentication. More important part is here. Now 26856, they let hacker to write some files there, and that's the place that where hacker can write web cells. And when a hacker write web cells in that Microsoft SPX, basically they are taking control of the entire systems, and they can do whatever they want to, lateral movement, privilege escalations, and persistence, threat, and blah, 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 anything. But today's topic is more about ransomware, so let's move the ransomware. So the hacker didn't stop just like installing their web cell, but also something called the 𝐷earCry ransomware. So someone once said that 𝐷earCry ransomware, I always remember WannaCry. 2017, when the entire world was in a havoc from that Eternal Blue, one of that vulnerability came out, entire world under so chaotic, definitely things got a little bit calm, and this 30,000 organization got hacked was due to this 𝐷earCry. There's some similarity, but not everything is similar there. So what this ransomware, it was all about, if you look at the characteristics, all the files gets encrypted, like something called the extension crypt. And then they ask them to, hey, send the money using this hash. So there was a question that, is this ransomware these days just about the encryptions, or is it about like also command and control sending exploitation data, is double extortion? Yes, the answer is double extortion. In Japan, there was a huge gaming company last year got hacked. Their files got encrypted, and they also send all this data outside so they can make money out of there. So you can see the similar thing is happening as well. They are encrypting things, and I'm gonna show you around this command and control server. They're gonna exploit that and then ask for that money. I will have a demonstrations about doing this double extortion today. So how this 𝐷earCry actually encrypt things? First of all, look at their scale of encryptions. So there is BMP PNG file simply encrypting the normal photos and those things. It still doesn't make any sense. But look at this JSP, PHP. What happens if your server side scripts get encrypted? No server gonna work out. ASPX, exec file, DLL file. And they are not doing too much, AES-256. Okay, I'll be encrypting my own ransomware today with less. But anyways, these are very, very hard things actually to decrypt. Unless and until you're not paying the money, actually things will not move on. Now let's go one more interesting ransomware, which is I really put a lot of effort, and actually I would like to talk about that. It's called the REvil ransomware, and why this is important. So you all heard the last havoc in the world happened from the Kaseya attack. Now, what were the 4 of them? SolarWinds in the very end of last year. The second one, you saw the Microsoft Exchange, and there was something called in the middle was Colonial Pipeline. All are the ransomware things. But this Kaseya attack, one of the newest one, and that's why I have chosen out. This is the hacker message: is bring us this $70 million because we have infected your 1 million devices, or get problem there. Now, why this hack is a problematic one? And a lot of people have some idea, well, we don't use Kaseya because it's IT management system. It doesn't, in my case. No. Think about their major cause. This is a supply chain attack. Any agent running your PC, what happens if their server is getting hacked? What is the relation between those devices and those server? You are under a tremendous attack there, which has a massive impact. Look at this one. So actually this attack coming out their admin page. So 50 plus MSPs. When I talk about the MSPs, it's still not the end users. It's the people who are managing those IT management, the end devices, they had 1,500 plus downstream organizations, and that makes it 1 million. That we call it a supply chain attacks. So there is a lots of like a very, very like a cheap thinking. We're not using Kaseya, we don't have any problem. We have to think about the idea, the concept, the impact of these attacks, but not that a single software is there and we are not getting impacted. So that, really showing this part in the Kaseya attack. Now let's go a bit deep dive. So this attack actually abusing something called the DLL side loading at the end of the day, and I'll get in a, but look at the root cause. Similar to that MS Exchange, the hack started to happen because the attacker took down the Kaseya system in itself. They didn't hack their SaaS system, but they took it on-prem, which was like that 50 MSPs. They started to bypass authentication, file uploading, and code injection. More importantly, they delete every event logs. So no one can go and do a lot of like a due diligence there that how we can fix things. And more importantly is here. This is the problematic part. Anyone in the planet gonna trust their service. You're gonna buy Akamai, you're gonna implant that EA agent or ETP agent, you're gonna trust that. What happens that ETP EA server is getting hacked? Similar situation is happening here. So what happened here? There is a trust here. There's a root privilege of this end like solutions. So the hacker put something like the hot fix, and this is the way that the hack happened. And finally, what this hacker is doing, disabling entire antivirus softwares, and then implanting a very old Microsoft Defender, and something there is a vulnerability or like this is like just a functionality of Microsoft is downloading or side loading this REvil ransomware. I will get in a minute ransomware characteristic, and then they started to encrypt everything. Now, where this DLL side loading actually resides in a bigger mitral attack CK, not actually in the very first when the reconnaissance or any initial access, but in the very middle, defense evasion perspective. What these things I'm trying to say, if you need to protect something like this one, you are very late in the game already. You have to protect it here, not here. But yeah, mitral attack is saying that, okay, DLL side loading is a kind of attack, which is the different definitions, and how you protect it is like a go and update your software, blah, blah, blah. Well, Microsoft, what they have done in DLL side loading objective, they are like stopping in the newer version of Microsoft to not actually execute the DLL file in the same folder, but do for the another source path and everything. But 1 second, do you think that hackers are stupid? They have already taken the entire end device on their control. So it doesn't matter. They're gonna change the path all the way there. They can rewrite the program like that. So it is great to giving this kind of things, but this is not a complete solution here. So a little bit more about this REvil ransomware. So if you look at in a very left up there, what they have done, once they updated that software, they disable everything and they drop this something called agent.exec. Now I have done like some static analysis myself here. If you can look at older version of Microsoft Defender and then something called the side loading. It's coming from my own like analysis, but it's like not a very big deal. That's the way software being built here. And this is the way it's actually the attack works. Something more visibility, the hash files and those. If you guys are interested in that static analysis and dynamic analysis, please have those things, but be careful, because if you're not doing like you will get like encrypted. So why Microsoft like Defender? If you look at, they are using very old stuff. If their certificate, if you look at Microsoft, they are using like 2013 and 2014. So they are smarter people. They program things the way it's going to work. Means they have a complete control on their end device. They want to do as much that they can. So do not just think that, oh, we can have that backup and something like that. It doesn't work like that. Something interested in that payload a little bit more. So in this REvil ransomware, we always think about the malware is going to do a command and control outside of the world. But this time, this REvil ransomware, after this analysis, if you look at the net variable here is given false. Means this ransomware this time has not communicated in a command and control server, even they had a 1200 hard-coded beacon domains outside. Now this could be a little bit like for the purpose or something like that. So I call this kind of attack one-sided encryption. So what happened in actually 1 million devices got encrypted. Now the hacker doesn't have any idea how to communicate, or they are bypassing anything, the outbound, the DNS solutions or anything you have in the place, or anything other thing they want to bypass here. But again, some hacker will come and rewrite this software again and then make this DMN enabled there as well. So think about the customization of this ransomware. It's not that like how REvil works and how that works. Take a broader scope of these attacks. Because I develop my own ransomware sometimes, it doesn't take me 30 minutes to develop a ransomware. I can program these things within a 2 to 3 hours. So think about the more broader perspective where these people are going on, customizations. And more importantly, this is a little bit more importantly for me, the attack took place 4th of July. Think about it, Independence Day of United States. Now this hack is coming out there, and you can see like obviously Russia, Ukraine, beautiful people. I love these countries. I travel actually, few of them actually, just awesome people. In my Japanese university, I have a lot of friends. So I don't have any problem with these people. However, there are some government, there are some nation state, they want to hack each other. By this time, it looks like the US and allies were mostly targeted, because all these things you are seeing in this stuff, it's the keyboards, which is whitelisted here. So the REvil ransomware do not want to attack if these things are actually whitelisted here. Well, maybe it's like coded here. Maybe I can recode some a different way. It will work in a different way. But there was something political strategy there when this attack was going on. And finally, about the REvil ransomware, this is the final result. So you have a end device in the left, and if that hack actually completes with that like a dropper agent.x and with that old Microsoft Defender, this is the thing you get, and now you are actually waiting for the money. So something here, I heard that REvil ransomware is taken out from the internet, and also I heard that like 1 million devices, Kaseya actually got the key finally, and a lot of like their devices got decrypted. Now God knows they paid $70 million within to the hacker or not. Nobody knows about it, because there is not a rules and regulations right now forcibly asking you. And I can tell you one thing, even Akamai is not in a position that, guys, hey, don't pay the money. You know what happened in the UK? They encrypted data in a hospital. People are dying. Paying money to the hacker is like saving lives there. So I mean, who is the Akamai is going to like judge there that pay or not pay there? So it depends on what the situation is there. We pay or we don't pay. But more importantly, how you can protect from the root cause of these problems. This is where the Akamai can help you out, but not those kinds of like legal things that we are here to defend and talk about it. So enough talk. I will go and talk about some attacks now. So Aparna, any questions I have, since like we don't have too much time, I go attack and then we come from the further question. Will that be okay?
Yeah, Jason, I think we can get straight into the demo. We don't have any questions right now.
Okay.
But audience members, if you have any questions, please do drop that in the Q&A or in the chat window.
So let's go here. So what I have brought together is a complete scenario. I can do, so my final goal is that I'm going to go and steal the credit card numbers. And the way I'm going to do this credit card numbers stealing, I'm not going to just steal it. I'm going to steal it. I'm going to encrypt it. It means that I'm going to get double extortion, and it is a credit card numbers for the customers. So how am I going to steal it? I can do a million different kinds of things, but here I'll be using a very, very terrible vulnerability of Microsoft. It came out last year, and it had a lot of like problematic part, a lot of hack actually happened with that vulnerability. I can do the similar thing with also phishing attack, because I can send a phishing email, I make them to download something, and then it come to me. I can write a Trojans, a undetectable Trojans. There's a lots of way to do it, but still, you know, end user might guess it and not attack and work out. So the vulnerability always makes sense. That's why I've chosen here. So I can abuse that vulnerability, get in the server, encrypt that file, you know, delete that file, make a double extortion, and then ask for the money and something like that, and finally do the decrypt as well, just for the sake of, you know, understanding. I'll be using encryption and decryption with the 128-bit. In Kaseya attack and Microsoft attack, they have used much more higher encryption key, but just for the sake of these presentations, I'll be doing a little bit lesser side. So why are we talking about this like you know, attack? So first of all, this attack I'm also using actually the you know, VPN, because I'll be attacking through virtual private network, and then I'll be attacking, you know, using that, you know, vulnerability. So if you look at this VPN, a lots of problematic part are happening. And why we talk about a lot of zero trust these days? Because VPN is a problematic part in itself. People think there is not a problem. A lot of problem is going on. If you see CV, lots of problems are there. What a hacker has done last year, they chained that VPN together with something called the zero login exploit. And what that zero login exploit is, as the name suggests, is a very simple, is they abuse VPN with the zero login. Means if you can send some of the attack payload nearly 256 times, actually you can steal or you can access complete to the Active Directory service, and you can steal a SAM file. When you steal a SAM file, you are stealing the administrator, NTLM hash, and you can get inside, and you can implant ransomware, anything you want. That's exactly I'm going to do it. And then after you steal it, stealing credit card is my way to do it, but you can do much more than that. So here's my command and control server that I'll be using out. Here is the credit card. Here's the vulnerability Windows server. So this is hacker will gonna send the payload directly. SAM file will get like you know, stolen, and then after I'll be talking about those credit card data, I'm gonna expose that, and then I'll be encrypting those things and decrypting it. That will be the you know, scenario here. So before I do, this is the attack time, and this is the attack things that I brought to you guys today. So this is the server or Windows box 192.168.151, and I have already that vulnerability actually prepared here, and I'm going to attack from my you know, the attacker machine all the way to this vulnerable machine. However, my last target is to go and actually steal it, a credit card. And why not? I'm going to go and I'm going to write my good friend Nick. I think his credit card is here, so it's not coming out. Anyways, save it. And let's get started. So first of all, I'll be using this CV vulnerability to, first of all, to get that zero login. Means this is going to go and actually is going to go attack and make that 256 or nearly something like that, and make that disable that logon there. That's why you call it the zero logon there. Now I have that status. What I'm going to do is I'm going to dump the entire SAM file there. And this is a very scary attack, guys. If somebody is going to steal your SAM file, you are totally done for 2 to 3 years, because this is all the Active Directory things will be like stolen. And what happens if somebody like administrative, you know, here on the very top and getting your NTLM hash. I'll be abusing another tag tool, something called the 𝐸𝐵𝐿_win_RM, and then I'll be getting directly to that service so that I can steal exactly that credit card data. So let me go inside. So I'm already inside the server. And now let me just check it out just for the sake of understanding if that data is here or not. If you can see sample.demo file is not here. What I'm going to do, download sample.demo file and check this out. So I have downloaded it, and just for the sake of understanding if this is here or not, so sample.demo. And this is the demo time. Let me just confirm if it is the same data or not. So let me just clear it out. At sample.demo. So yes, I got all the credit card with me. So now this is entertaining to me, but yes, entertaining to me, and it's not entertaining to me. I'm going to do, I have built a ransomware for this, today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do and use my ransomware, and I'm going to encrypt these things that I have built it for today. So in my ransomware, any file with the demo extension is going to get encrypted there. So let's double check. You see, you cannot read anything here. So what I'm going to do is just for understanding sample.demo. So it's encrypted. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload this file. So let me just go and exit it. Do one more time. Come on. And I'm going to go upload that file very quicker. So sample the demo, and check this out. If their file is, of course, deleted and then encrypted. So this is the double extortion that I see. Now they have no idea unless and until they will give into the private key, and how that private key will look like is a pretty simple. What I'm going to do is, let me just go and do a quicker decryption. So ransomware action decrypt, and I have a key file in my local file. So let's just do it, and then cat sample.demo. Check this out. So I can go and give them, whatever they have the file was. So this is the demonstration I wanted to show that how easy it is. You don't have to do phish or anything else. And this kinds of like a vulnerability is keep on coming out, day in and day out all the time. So how we can, protect from these kinds of attacks? Well, my colleague gonna talk a little bit more about this one, but what I can say you from these two attacks is pretty simple. If you look at even Microsoft Exchange hack and Kaseya hack, and one I did the zero login attack, all these attacks are happening because you have a vulnerability in the very, very first place. Very first place when the hacker just comes inside. They implanting ransomware in the very, very after in the stage of attacks. So we have to protect these pieces. So how you can protect? Well, there is some idea like go and do the zero-day patching, or do web application firewall, or do the zero trust, something like solution that my colleague will talk about the solutions. So idea is like very simple. Do not expose your application, which you do not have to do first of all. And then even you exposing, then implant that like authorization and authentication, something we have called like a zero trust, like with a least privilege enterprise application access. And also, even you have done that, there will be a very, very hard way to think about that. There will be like some vulnerability, and somebody attacking also internally as well. So you can implant some defense in depth with something. We have a Akamai Defender, client replacement, and bot manager on the top of that. So that will be one way to fix the root cause there. And also this time there was not a command and control communication outside the world, because in Kaseya you saw there was one-sided. But if you look at 𝐞𝐞 or any other, other kind of like attacks, because these are the ransomware we have seen: 𝐞𝐞, Sunburst, REvil, 𝐸𝐸 My Blood. These kinds of attacks actually coming out of the Akamai platform. Now these also communicate actually outside, especially this 𝐞𝐞. This talks to outside in a very, very sophisticated way. They use Empire software, which is near to something, what we call it, more better than Metasploit and the other. So there will be, of course, a command and control going outside. Very effectively, Akamai have a ETP solution, and that will also protect you actually from the DNS side with a command and control perspective. So since I've been given a 1 hour hard time, it's already 21 in my time. There's 9 minutes left. I think Nick, you go first, explain it, and then come to Q&A.
Hey, Ajay,
Yeah.
you are running out of time. We keep 10 minutes at the end for closure and Q&A. So maybe we can take 5 more minutes, right?
Okay.
Cool.
At all. Thank you.
Can you go through the solution, please? Yeah.
I can. Thank you, Ajay, for a fantastic session, and I think some great learnings there. So, Aparna, can you put up the presentation, please? Good evening, everybody. Thank you again for your time. I'm Nick Hawkins on the product management side, and sorry, Aparna, I don't see the slides.
Are you able to see my screen?
I can see slides. I'm just not sure where my slides are in that deck.
This one, right?
Oh, we're still seeing Ajay's screen.
Um,
No, I've got it now. I've got it. Don't worry. Hopefully you can see my slides. Apologies for that. So I think as Ajay-san has highlighted, there really is a requirement, I think, to take a holistic view of your security and look at defense in depth. If you look at the Kaseya hack and exploits that happened there were multiple exploits that were used around authentication bypass, file upload, code injection, and we've seen just how easily those can be exploited, as in Ajay's fantastic demo. What wasn't quite so clear is how the attackers got the foothold in the first place. Now, if an application is exposed to the internet and that application is not secure, or if there is a vulnerability in the VPN server, then those are relatively easy doors for the hackers to exploit and open. So it really does highlight, I think, that it's important to have a defense in depth strategy. At the core, you have what we would class as the basics. You need to your core applications. You need to have EDR on the end user devices. You need to have your firewall in place, and preferably your VPN is also, if you're using that, is fully updated. But there are many other things that you can do to also aid in building additional layers of security, because the reality is no single solution is going to give you 100% guaranteed protection. So you need to look at all the different angles of attack that Ajay has highlighted in his hacking demonstration. You need to look at segmentation of your network with zero trust. So stopping lateral spread. If a server is compromised, ensuring that there's not the ability to spread from that server to another. How do you authenticate your users? MFA, a lot of people think, is a very good solution, but that can actually be phished. So how do you protect against that? What do you do about protecting your users going to the internet? What do you do about protecting your servers? So you really need this sort of multi-layer strategy. And you also really need to approach with a mindset that you will have compromised systems on your network. You have to start from that premise. You have to design your security with the expectation that you will have a compromised device on your network. So there are a few things that you can do, certainly where Akamai can help. As mentioned by Ajay, we have a secure web gateway capability in the cloud. At its simplest, this does DNS filtering. and ensures that users don't go to known malware, known phishing sites, built upon the intelligence that Akamai has and all these statistics that Aparna showed at the beginning of the session. But it actually does a lot more. It'll do URL filtering. It actually does fingerprinting of sites to determine if they're phishing. It can do application visibility and control. And so this is a way of kind of, if we go back down the layers of that onion, it's a way of ensuring that your users, when they go to the internet, you're doing everything possible to protect their access to, the internet and ensure that they're going to safe and appropriate sites. Then you need to look at how do you segment your application access. You want to implement zero trust here, where rather than exposing your applications to the internet, rather than having a flat network behind your access point, you actually treat each application individually. If we could go to slide 5, onto the zero trust slide. Thank you. You treat each application individually, and you create authentication and authorization rules for each application. That way you're ensuring that you're minimizing a user's access, preferably at layer 7 rather than layer 4, and mitigating, minimizing the potential for that user if that user's device has been compromised to gain access to other resources that they're not authorized for. You also want to both authenticate and authorize that user as strongly as possible. Multi-factor authentication is often, touted these days as a great way of validating that. But as we've seen in other hacks, such as the Twitter hack last year, users were phished and they simply accepted a push notification. And push notification is not actually that strong a method of protection, because in the standard push notification, there's no linkage between the request and the push notification. So ideally, you want FIDO2. You can do that with hardware keys such as YubiKeys, Titan keys, and so on and so forth. But actually, users want passwordless. They want the simplicity of push notification. So there are solutions from Akamai that allow you to get a FIDO2 based solution, but with the simplicity of a push notification on your phone, and it gives you a path to secure passwordless authentication, which I think is a way a lot of organizations are going. I know we went through that very, very quickly, but hopefully the key takeaway is that you need to look at all different threat vectors and aspects of entry points into your networks. You need to look at securing your applications as well as the access to those applications. There is no one answer fits all questions, and you need to really look at defense in depth. And certainly organizations like Akamai have a suite of products to enable you to do that. So with that, Aparna, I'll hand back to you.
Thanks, Nick. That was pretty, swift and brief. Thank you so much for that. I hope, we were able to do that in time. Vikas, so back to you.
Yeah, great, Aparna. Thanks a lot. 5:58. So I got to rush my closing.
Okay.
Great, great session, Ajay and Nick. Wonderful insights around ransomware protection. Really appreciate you guys sharing your knowledge. With that, let me share my screen. Aparna, can you make me presenter, please? And I think you are going to share a feedback form as well, right? So guys, go ahead. There's a feedback form that Aparna is going to post in the chat. So please take out time to fill that. And with that, let me share my screen.
So because that's right, the feedback form will actually appear just after the session. So once you close the session, the survey window will pop up. So
Okay.
we'd really appreciate if you could give us your feedback, and that will help us kind of make these sessions more relevant and knowledgeable for everyone. So
Sure.
look forward to that.
Great. Traditionally, we have been doing things differently. So at the end, we used to put a Google form link in the chat on a Zoom session, and then people used to fill that. But in this case, this will auto appear, right? So that's
Yes,
cool.
yes. Yeah.
Great. Hopefully
Because-
you can see. Yep.
There's lots of questions around there. Do you want answer now, or do you want to take a next somewhere?
We can take, let's say, 2 burning questions because we are just running out of time. So if you find very interesting questions, pick yourself, take your choice, and then answer those, please. Go ahead, please.
Okay. So I see one question's coming from Walid, that when you say CNC application much better than Metasploit, can you mention some names? Absolutely. Metasploit is being not a CNC, it's like a complete, tools of the hacker choice. But I can go for Empire, is a very, very famous command and control application. And there is something new came out in the, recently in DEF CON in the United States that they run it, Racket something. That is a very, very good actually command and control application that I just tested out. Very, very efficient. So those that I can mention there. Now the next question I see is, so this attack 𝐶𝐵 applicable to unpatchable public VPN server? No. That 𝐶𝐵 that what I used today is specific to that Microsoft Active Directory vulnerability. So you can patch there, but what a hacker has done is they abuse the VPN vulnerability and they also abuse that Active Directory vulnerability together to have their attack more efficient, and it was like devastating. So there's not mix and match there. Just take that vulnerability is not related anything with that VPN. I think that two were in my eyes. I don't see anything else.
Perfect. Sounds good. Thanks, Ajay. Great, guys. So if you want to download your participation certificate that looks like this, what you can do is you can go to 𝐿𝐞𝐶ISO's website, go under events, come to upcoming events, and then click on CP certificate. Once you click on that, this will take you to a Google form. Put your email address, put your full name, and the password to download the certificate is senior, SENIOR. Okay, password is senior. You might ask why senior? Because today, 21st August, Saturday, is Senior Citizen Day. Okay, we all know the Valentine Day, Mother's Day, Sister's Day, Father's Day and all, but we kind of ignore Senior Citizen Day, right? It is very important that we realize that our elders do need our help and our attention as well. So I would appreciate after the session, you go and talk to your parents, your mother, your father, your seniors, because they need our attention, right? That's why the password is senior for today's session, just to remind you of that. And once you are here to download your participation certificate, you might want to register for our weekly webinar that we do every Thursday at 11 o'clock. And next week, we are partnering with Darktrace, and we are bringing CISO of 63 Moons, Mr. Nihar. And Nihar will talk about how Darktrace AI is helping them defend their cyber infrastructure, right? So go ahead and register for it. The first 100 people to register for this event will be eligible for a raffle that we will do. And the giveaway is Apple AirPods. Okay, guys. So you can go ahead, click on register now, and yeah, quickly register for that. And the last thing that everybody is kind of waiting for is the Wheel of Fortune for today's session. And the giveaway is Amazon Alexa. So what we did is the first 100 people who registered for this event, we have put them in this Wheel of Fortune. I'm going to spin it, and then this will randomly pick one individual. Okay. All the people who registered with non-business ID, they have been removed. So if you want to participate in this, you must register with your business ID. Okay. Good luck, everyone. I'm going to spin it now. Let's see who the lucky winner is going to be. Great, Dr. Rizwan Ahmed from Deltaplex. So Mr. Rizwan, if you are in the session, go to the chat and say, yes, you are in the session. I'm looking at the chat window right now. I don't see any response over here. And Mr. Wallet is also asking for download the participation certificate. The link for that is simple, 𝐿𝐞𝐶ISOs.com. You have to go to the website. Okay. I will show it one more time before we close the session, but I'm going to run it one more time. Let's see. Abhishek Bansal, my dear friend and member of Delhi chapter. Abhishek usually does not miss any session. So Abhishek, are you there? Come on, guys, put it in a Delhi WhatsApp group that he is missing it. Okay, I'm going to run it one more time.
Vikas, looks like Abhishek Bansal is on the session. I see him as an attendee.
I don't see his yes on the chat window. He's pretty familiar with the format that we run. Mr. Sanjeev Agarwal. Mr. Sanjeev Agarwal. If you are not there, then I'm going to keep the Amazon Alexa, okay? Yeah, it was Abhishek. It is Abhishek Bansal, not Abhishek Mathur. I'm reading what is coming to the panelist chat window. Okay, I am running it one last time, guys, okay? One last time. And the lucky winner is Mr. Ganesh. Mr. Ganesh from Nipa Systems. Still not there. So there are about 310 people registered and I see about 100. Mr. Ganesh is there, right? Wonderful, wonderful. I see hi from Mr. Ganesh. Great, congratulations. So ping me separately and we will deliver it over to you. And couple of people asked how to download certificate. So guys, go to 𝐒𝐞𝐶ISO's website. I'm putting the link as well on the chat for all attendees. So go to 𝐒𝐞𝐶ISO's website, go to events, click on upcoming events, and then click on CP certificate. This will take you to a separate form, and the password to download certificate, I'm putting it again on the chat, is senior. Okay, that's the password. And maybe one last thing, if you are joining our session for the very first time, probably what you can do is you can also apply for 𝐒𝐞𝐶ISO's membership. It is free of cost, but it is open only for corporate CIOs and CISOs. So there are separate WhatsApp group across India for different cities. We have city-wise chapters. And if you want to be a member of those WhatsApp groups, please apply over here and we will add you to the group. With this, it is 6:07. Sorry, guys, we extended a little bit today. Thanks, Akamai team. Thanks, everyone, for joining in. It's been a great session. Recording and slides will be available on 𝐒𝐞𝐶ISO's website. Bye for now. Enjoy your Saturday and Sunday tomorrow. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Vikas and the 𝐿E_CISO's team.
Thank you, Vikas, Aparna, Nick.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.